respect your ambition, Willie, but you got to have vision.
Uh, 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 uh. Hello, world. It's me again. It's the Don, the Senator, smooth and rude, coming to you live from the 75Y. Cause we global, baby. Yeah. This is the Mansion in the Sky podcast where we build a lamb while we drive it. And here at the mansion, we strive to become envious, which is unconquerable and influential in every single aspect of our lives. Our focus here is to learn lessons from current events, either global and or local, and apply it while staying in the mix about technology and health in a cold, calculated, and ever so changing world. So, envious ones, welcome to the home of the anti-hero. Yes, man, I'm so excited to be doing what I'm doing, man. I know it's not a lot of popularity in telling the truth, helping people out in this world. This world is cold, man. This cold world. But I have a exciting show, a very, very insightful show for you guys today. So, how we do things over here is, first things first is we give out the isms, the Donisms. Then after that, then we do a word of the day. Then after the word of the day, then we have a topic that's talking about current events, local and or global. And then we have a technology topic. And then we round the show out. So today, we're gonna talk about the OG who just passed away, and some of the things that some of his philosophies that he spoke on that I agree with, and I incorporated into my life. The OG, Kevin Samuels, the Godfather, rest in peace, just passed yesterday at age 56 from cardiac arrest. Pull him up. Yeah, he just passed from cardiac arrest. And yeah, people do die every single day. Yeah, understand that. But not people who actually have helped you or have actually done something to help make you better. And people can say what they want to say about this brother, this gentleman, one of my uncles. But he helped change my life because he kicked my ass. So today's ism is going to be a reflection on Kevin Samuels and some of the things that have helped me get over the hump. I can't say he's the biggest influence in my life, but he helped me make a decision that was crucial to my life that has my stock and my trajectory going in the right direction. And for that, I'm forever grateful. So if you didn't accomplish anything else, which I know you accomplished so much, you helped one brother. I can say that. You helped one brother. So I'm going to run through it. And I just want to say that there's so many tasteless people in this world. So many tasteless, so many classless people in this world. This world has become desensitized to human death. Of course, black death, they always profit off of. They don't care. Especially if you're a prominent brown-skinned brother who actually have something going on for you. They don't care. That's just the world that we live in. But man, he must have really struck a nerve with a lot of these people out here. And I know he did. Brother was telling so many damn truths, man. He He was telling it like it was, like it is, the way that it needed to be told about a lot of these sisters, man, and about a lot of these people. But I'm not gonna focus on so much of how he was speaking on the sisters because I already knew. It was just that a lot of these sisters, they weren't ready for how he was coming. They really weren't ready for it. Cause I believe that let me get into it. So I believe that his greatest work occurred in between when he was first starting up. Now, mind you, I got put onto him basically at the same time that everybody else got put onto Kevin Samuels, which was like 2020, late 2020 during the pandemic. So prior to then, I had never heard of Kevin Samuels. Never. Now, after listening to him, liking his approach, his style, everything about him, then I went back and I listened to his other pieces of work. And I was like, yeah, this is where the real work has been done. Because he said it a lot of times. He said it so much. And also, yeah, I do have my coffee. No smokes. Day 12. No smokes. Day 12. But he used to say this all the time. That he used to make content for men. Which he still made content for men. But he would always point out that, hey, the men didn't care. The men did not care. But I'll get back to you. But like I said, his best work, in my opinion, was done in between when he first started and when he blew up. The video that influenced me the most and got me together and really got me thinking and really preempted a change in my life was the video called "What Your Father Should Have Told You." Now, I never had a father, so just like a lot of other brothers, this was like a father figure to us. Like so many other men who get online and they tell us what it is, you know? It's just some of us are smart enough to know, all right, take this, leave this, contribute to this person because they gave you this. These people over here, let them be. This is a beautiful thing about the internet. You can literally find whatever it is that you need. I was never on Kevin Samuels' page trying to learn about women and things like that. Nah. I mean, I've been getting women since my inception. I never needed help with that. I never came to this community looking for that or looking for answers as far as that's concerned. I came to this community looking to upgrade my life and do better because I wanted better results. I wanted to live a different life. I wanted to know how to build the life that I felt like I deserved. Because I knew it was achievable. I knew it was attainable. But I just didn't know how to do it, where to start, how to go about it, what I needed to cut off, what I didn't need to cut off. I mean, for the most part, I stick to my own guns. I stick to myself. So cutting the dead weight off, that's not an issue. But it's like, all right, so where do you go from there? And also, by the way, I know the production is still it is what it is. See, I'm in the process right now of just doing pre-production on the podcast. So I'm just deciding how I want to do it, and that's another saying that I actually like. I love when he said it. We're building the plane while we fly it. So I took that saying, put my own spin on it. We build the land while we drive it. I love that. Cause it's just saying it's not gonna be perfect when you start, but you gotta start in order for it to get there. So right now, I'm brainstorming, I'm looking at things, I'm thinking of color schemes, I'm thinking of so many different things and ways that I want my show to look. And I almost have it. So in the next coming weeks, it will improve. But for now, we're gonna keep doing what we're doing. But that video right there, what your father should have told you, what stood out to me and what helped me change was when he's like, hey, brothers who are over 30 and you still talking about getting women and broke dating and talking about trying to be fly, how many hoes you fucking. Don't come talk to me about it. Especially if you don't have any money. Because I'm going to look at you funny. And it got me to thinking. Because I was like, you know what? That describes me. I got hoes. But I don't have any money. I know what I want to do. But outside of entertainment, what else do I have? What if that entertainment kit is taken away from me and I'm forced to do something else? Will I be able to keep a roof over my head and food on my table while not having to do something that may jeopardize me, my reputation, my health, whatever the case is? And the other thing that he said that really sold it for me, because you gotta think, this guy, the Godfather, salesman, corporate salesman. Was like, you're a late bloomer. So you're going to have to pay for what you missed. You're going to have to pay anyways. So you might as well go ahead, pick something, do it, pay what you need to pay, and get your money up. Because you're going to have to pay anyways. So go ahead, take out that loan, go ahead, pay for that debt. We really don't encourage taking out loans and going into debt, especially if you don't have to. We don't encourage that shit at all. But since you're a late bloomer, then you need to go ahead and do that because you're behind. So I said, all right, you're right. I'm behind. Sorry you had to kick my ass so many damn times. But I mean, there are no excuses, but maybe if I had a father in the house, maybe things would have went a little bit different. Maybe I would have already been on my course, my path at 18 instead of 30. You see what I'm saying? That's 12 years right there. I could have already been in the bag. But it's never too late. But it's just like, that's why this podcast here exists. Because I want to help out brothers that or where I am or where I was. So that video right there, what your father should have told you, that was the video that solidified Kevin Samuels' spot, at least in my life and in my influence, in my top 8. If we was doing it based off of MySpace standards, that's what solidified him in my top 8. Was that video right there, what your father should have told you. Now, other things that surrounded it that I really kind of knew and I favored, that I favored and I liked, and or I had a liking to, that he did and that he said and that were philosophies of his, were CIA men. He would always come on the live stream. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Give a shout out to all my CIA men and all my FBI women. So CIA, confident, intelligent, assertive, which falls up under envious, unconquerable, and influential. You have to be confident, intelligent, and assertive in order to even become envious, unconquerable, and influential. And FBI women, those are really the type of women that we want. Fit, beautiful, intelligent, or what really, feminine, beautiful, intelligent. Or fit, beautiful, intelligent. That's what we want. Feminine women. Women that actually act like women. And not women that you have to say, hey, go ahead, tuck your dick. That was my favorite. That was by far my favorite saying from KS that he ever said. When he'll tell the chicks, hey, do me a favor, put your dick up. That was my favorite thing. When he would tell them, hey, go ahead, put your dick up when you talking to me. Okay? Because it just lets you understand, one, how good he was with the women. And I know there are other people on YouTube that I listen to that are in the same community that had their opinions, and I listened to them and I respected them, and I didn't stop listening to KS because of other people's opinions. I just stopped listening because the content didn't really cater to what I needed. It was going in a direction that was going this way, and I was still going straight. You know, it veered off the highway, and I was still going straight, or I veered off the highway and it was still going straight. I was just like, it's not really me. It's not really what I need. I've already made up my mind as far as what I want to do when it comes to women, and I already know how to deal with women in the way that I want to deal with them. So I don't need that. I have years of experience with that. Most people who are in my position don't have that type of experience. I have that experience. I know how I want to deal with them. So I'm not looking for that. I'm not searching for that. I'm not looking for any type of mind control or ways to fast pimp, slow pimp and pander. None of that. I don't need that. I want to live the life that I want to live on my own terms, and I want to be able to build that life. And that's what I was looking for. And that's how I found my way to the Godfather, who I highly respect. But it got to a point where the content wasn't really as catered to men as it had been when I first gained respect for KS. I never lost respect for him. Even if I was listening to other brothers who had been working with him from the beginning, helping him get his stuff together, bringing him in contact with contacts that helped get him together and get him up, whatever the case is. They never forced my hand on an opinion, and they never forced my hand on which way to lean. I love and respect all those guys because they've all contributed to my success in one way or another. But this brother right here definitely kicked my ass over the speed bump. And I was like, all right, I'm getting back to school. It's time. It's time. Cutting the hair. He's always been an advocate for cutting the hair. Now, I went to Hampton University. If you know anything about Hampton University, bourgeoisies. Black people with money. Now it's more diverse nowadays, but bourgeoisies with monies. And they treat you how you look. If you look like a dusty, they're going to treat you dusty. If you're a dusty, but you look like you have money, they'll treat you like you have money. Image is everything. Okay? Image. That's another thing that I picked up from KS. See, the women are the ones who get in their feelings, and the moist ass niggas that listen in to KS are the ones who always were getting their feelings about how he was saying his message. But the facts are the facts, man. It ain't worth getting in a long-term relationship with anybody nowadays. It ain't worth it. That shit's dead. That shit is dead. Now, he always promoted, basically get your shit together, get you some money, get you some therapy, and find you somebody that you can eventually get married to. Even though, well, he's been divorced twice. So fucking what? That means that he has the experience. Me personally, that's just not for me. That's just not what I want. I've already made my mind up. No, I'm not doing that. That's not what I want. That's not really what's going on today. Monogamy is not what's really going on today. If anything, monogamy is taboo. Another thing about The Godfather that I really, really respected, I'm glad that he said and highlighted damn near every single episode, is we all know a Big Shirley. It's a big block, heavy Pillsbury biscuit can, out of shape, shapely, curvy. And let's be real. One of the things that these brothers of his caliber said is you can't have a Shirley in a Porsche 911. It's gonna hurt her in the car when she trying to get in and out of that low little sports car. Those sports cars are not made for big women. They're made for skinny women, women in shape. And I don't know if he said this, but I know this to be fact. Men with money or high value men, aka high value targets, they ain't going for no heavy women. That's some broke nigga shit. That's broke people stuff, man. Broke people deal with people who are out of shape and can't control themselves. I see it all the time. Because if you could do better, you would do better. Most of the times, fat people are just a fetish. Nobody really wants to date or invest and have to constantly take care of people who are overweight. What did the Godfather tell us? And what do we know to be facts? And what did all the other brothers? I'm not even going to bring up the other brothers because for me, this is a celebration of the work and the influence and the envious activity that emanated from this brother right here. Help, fat people are a liability. And in my life, and anybody who wants the best for themselves, we cutting all fat. We cutting all dead weight. We cutting off all liabilities. Fat people are liabilities, man. That's just what it is. They're liabilities. You can't get mad because I don't want a fat woman. Talking about some fat shaming. Too many moist people out in this world with too much power, too much clout, too much pandering to these moist people, man. To this participation trophy generation that I had the pleasure of being a part of. Good times to be alive in, but man, it sucks. Because the next thing that's going to go after speech is thinking, the thought. Well, the thought's already going. It's going to be illegal to think. It's damn near almost illegal to say. It's a sick world, man. It's like people are so sensitive, so salty, so sandy, so moist to everything. It's like, man, I don't want to watch anything that's built on lies. And people can say what they want about Dave Chappelle's, Kevin Samuels, Coach Greg Adams, Angry Man Valdez, Colin Cowherd. But man, the truth, people hate the truth, man. But the truth, it's going to live forever. The truth is always going to be controversial. And now, I finally realize why I've never been the most liked. It's because I've been real. I've been real the whole time. Didn't even know I was real, but I've been real. Not even real in the sense of, well, you hold up two Gucci bags beside each other and knock off here, real here. Nah, real as in I've really been who I have always been, and I've never swayed from it. Didn't care, didn't let others dictate how I move or how I speak or how I am and what I wanted to do and how I wanted to be and where I wanted to go with my life. I never let other people dictate that for me. And with that, good things came from it. Man, I'm telling you, good things come to those who work hard, keep it real, and hold the line. But the good do die young if they get your ass. The only reason they ain't got me is because I ain't famous. Because if I had my own money and I was famous, they would have been tried to take me out. Because I would have had all the kids bleaching their hair copper. I would have had all the kids doing that. I would have had all the kids putting lines in their heads. I would have had way more money and I would have had artists who come up here, cut designs in the hair. I might have pulled the hairline down a little bit. Nah, I'm cool. Like, man, I would have made what I am cool. Because I am cool. Because I'm different. Different is cool. Weird is different. But cool is different. And that's what I am. I influence people. And I know that. And people hate. People hate. But sometimes my problem is I'm a little aloof. Naive. A little bit. But a lot of aloof. So I don't really peep that people are really hating. People are really jealous. It's not because I have money. It's because I'm not afraid to be me. I'm not afraid to say something and it don't make sense. And they say, what you said doesn't make sense. And I say, oops, my bad. What I meant to say is. And they're like, but what you said before don't make sense. And I'm like, okay, well, all right, well, it didn't make sense. This is what I meant to say. You can either keep harping on that or you can help me. Since you're supposed to be teaching me anyways, do we want to talk about your lack of helpfulness skills? Cold world, man. It is. Once you think about it. Now I know that as far as we know and we understand, the Godfather passed from natural causes, cardiac arrest. But man, I'm sure stress has something to do with it. Let me go ahead and finish off today's ism, because like I said, I knew this ism was gonna run long. So the Big Shirley thing, man. Look, I've never been an advocate for big women. Of course, I've had big women that I've absolutely adored and I've loved, like G Money. I always had a thing for G Money. Still got a thing for a big ass. But I'm just not an advocate for big women. I'm just not. More times than not, you're not going to catch me with the big woman. That's just not what I like. That's just not my preference. But in today's climate, your opinion, what you don't like, is an issue. And I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling horseshit. You see that right there? What I just did? That's what people don't like. That's where the haters are born. That's why this man to my right and other men just like him and women are so-called quote-unquote controversial. When in reality, they're not really controversial. They're not. They're not. There's nothing controversial about these people. The only thing that's controversial is that this world was designed for the weak to be many, and for the different, the unique, the rare to be exactly that. But I guess amongst this small realm, because there's trillions of people in this world, so I'll say hundreds of thousands to a couple million of people within this small society, secret society of rare people we can go back and forth between ideas, but still have our ideas remain what they are, but not be mad when another mind, great mind, says, hey, I like 9 out of 10 of your ideas, but the 10th idea, I adamantly don't fuck with it. And here's why. And lay it out. And you say, you know what? I like my idea, but I'll make amendments to that because what you said. And you do your own research and you apply it. That right there is controversial. Not being afraid to grow. And to grow into what you're actually supposed to be. I honestly never really realized how controversial I was. Really until now. Not as in now when I'm doing this video, but now as in the last few years. Like everywhere I go, it's something. Not as in I'm always in trouble, but it's like someone's always feeling some type of way. It's not what I'm saying. It's just my perspective on things. The sister daughters episode I thought was really, really important. Because I haven't heard too much of men talking about that. The sister daughter effect, which I dated a chick who had that dynamic with her mother. Always hanging out with her moms and everything that we did and we experienced, the mother had to know. It was like the mother was involved with every single anything. And that was one of the big things that pushed me away. Because I knew, all right, if we were ever to, let's say, tie a knot, that's going to be the master-in-law. That's going to be the mother-in-law. So right now, things are cool, but I know how she gets down. Plus, on top of that, I already see how this girl that I was dealing with at the time talks about and treats her father. I'm like, and how the mother also treats her husband. I'm like, that would be me. That's what would happen to me. They would treat me just like how they treat now. I don't have time for that. I never cared for the sister-daughter dynamic. And it's an issue. Another topic that I really, really enjoyed and got a lot from. This wasn't even a topic, but this is more of a statement that he elaborated on a little bit. What would we call a man who's 25 years old, still living at home, not doing shit. We call that a loser. So, what would we call a woman who's 25 or older, still living with her peoples, not doing shit? It's a loser. She's a loser. She's a loser. The only way that would ever be acceptable is if you're in school or or you're actually working or doing something, working your way towards something. So not just working, unless you're CEO of Home Depot, something big. But if you're just the cashier at Home Depot and you're not working towards anything, you're just going out every weekend, hanging out, giving it up easy, shaking your butt, giving it all up to the feeling. You ain't doing shit. You a loser. Man or woman. But when he spoke on this topic, he was speaking to the women, but he was speaking on the double standard. Because a lot of these women can go home and not be criticized being 30, 31, 32, still living with the peoples. But us men, our ass is more liable to be homeless, be on the streets, living in the car. Them women, they're going to have shelters for them. They're going to have something for them to not have to get it out the dirt, not have to get it out the mud. And that's all he was saying. That, yeah, there may be double standards when it comes to maybe sex, but there are double standards when it comes to other things as well that need to be corrected or should be corrected. Or if they're not ever going to be corrected and they don't need to be corrected, then they at least need to be put out there and highlighted that, hey, this is what it is. Because I agree. If you're that old, you're still living with your peoples and you're not doing anything, you're not working towards anything, you're a loser. Man or woman. So I definitely enjoyed that topic when he spoke on that. Cause it had me thinking. I was like, well, technically I've been out the house since I was 16 years old. During breaks and stuff like that, like Christmas break and summer break and Thanksgiving break and spring break, I will come back home. This is ever since I was 16, so I'm 30 now. So that's for the better part of 14 years, I've been away from the house. I've been away from the house for what? 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2. So for half of those 14 years, I was coming back home. So December or November, December, coming home. Spring break, coming home. Summer break, coming home. But besides that, I was gone. I was not at home. So I officially pulled the ripcord when 2014. I said, I'm not going back home. I said, shit, I'm going to start a clothing store and I'm going to make $1 million. Which never happened. Yet. Campus Stella Records, huh? Interesting. Yet. And I really did want to start that clothing store, man. I really did. But we never had a plan, and that's why it never popped off. But yeah, I left at 23. So it's been 7 years since I've officially been out the nest, but 14 years when I first started itching my way. There's no reason for me to be at the house. There was nothing to do there. And my mom's like, well, you can always come home. I'm like, nah, I'm not coming home. I'll go be homeless before that happens. And I've done what I've had to do. But I've been employed every day or every year since 2015. I've never not been without a job. Maybe not making top of the line money, but I've always been employed. And that's just what it is. That's just how I operate and I get down. So many things that I really admired about KS, the Godfather, but all in the isms with the high value man, which was a thing that a lot of people got misconstrued. And I mean, in essence, you can really frame it and put it the way that you want to put it. But I really admired and I really liked the definition of what he said and what he perceived, not even what he perceived, what he knew to be a high value man. So, and the reason why I liked it is because it was something that was definitely achievable if you really put your mind and your grind to it. And it was something to work towards. Like, even though his content was in the mainstream sense of where things was going or were, that was set up for the women. But the undertone of his show, if you ask me, was for the men. It was always showing us, hey, look, most of these women ain't even worth it. They just sex dolls. You know what I mean? Just ask her, hey, open up one of your holes, make that available for me. I'm gonna go ahead and do what I gotta do and whatever. But he always will push this. And that was giving men a bar to reach. So the high value man criteria requirements, according to the late great Kevin Samuels, is one, he makes $10,000 or more per month, which would be over 6 figures. He has demonstrated this performance over a minimum of 5 years' time. I believe KS did say about 3 to 5 years. He has group acceptance by other high value men. So other men who have achieved, I'm trying to figure out how this net got in here. So other men who have also achieved this 6 figures, he belongs to a network of other high value men, pretty much the same thing. He has visibility in the society. So a prominent figurehead, a prominent a face. And he has utility, which means he is useful to others in the society. Me personally, that's the kind of guy that I've always been striving to be. Before KS, after KS. Subconsciously and now consciously. I've always wanted to at least get there to start off. So that's what I'm working towards. Like some of the messages that I've seen online, it's so tasteless. It's so disrespectful. Because the man will say, you need to buy a dog, die alone. Because let's be real, a lot of them do have dogs. And they're going to end up dying alone. I don't even want to talk about my situation because I'm good. But I'm just a little worried about some people who are in my family tree who is not looking like, they have some type of pets and they don't have a man. And the ones who do have men, the men don't look too happy every time I've seen them. Who wants to live like that, man? And I get it. This man, he comes from an era where people were getting together and they were linking up on the promise of we are going to create a family and we're going to help each other from one end of life to the other. As in a business partnership. As in the love will come later, but we need to go ahead and figure out how we're going to secure this. Because we don't have that anymore. Those 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 year marriages, the only ones that are here are from that generation. So we're not going to be getting those anymore. But then on top of that, we're dealing with a brother who understood all of this and understood the climate and the times of what's going on. So it's not like you're getting outdated information. This is a brother who, if let's just say he died all this black, he looked like he's in his 30s. So he was dealing with the young girls. We know that for a fact. Come on now. So KS, my eyes were definitely a martyr, but he will be remembered by men like me. The women, yeah, on the relationship side, but he will be remembered by the men that he inspired to get their image together and to get their shit together. Because he talked big shit. It's because he meant that shit. I don't know. I don't know him personally. But I know when I'm talking to my bros who think I have it so much more together than they do. And I'm like, yo, first of all, you're not even trying. You're not even trying to get it together. It's kind of like that. Except he done already did this. So this is like a 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 77th career for him. 56. He is just an example that it's not over. Especially for us men. A lot of us men are going to become, or not become, but are late bloomers. He's a prime example of that. Except he been doing this thing since the 90s, since the 80s. Involved in so much. He said he was a bouncer. He said graduated with a degree in chemical engineering. Bouncer. Martial artist. Corporate America superstar salesman. Just a couple of things. Age 56. YouTube sensation. Worldwide celebrity. We global, baby, yeah. Influencing men and women. Starting conversations, starting hard conversations. Most people are afraid to tell their woman leave the toilet seat up when she's done. And he's over here starting hard conversations. So, I'm not the one who's gonna sit up here and say, "Hey, well, you know, I'm a KS stan, and I'm not gonna do that." But what I am gonna do and what I am gonna say is that he definitely helped me to change my life. Cause I don't think I would have. I don't think I would have went to school if I wouldn't have listened to this brother and the other brothers who I've listened to, like my other aunt, my favorite aunt for real, Coach Greg Adams. And the other ones. I don't think I would have did it. But listening to him got me right. So rest in peace, rest in heaven, rest in power. And one day I will probably see you. All right, word of the day.
Mollify.
Mollify. What it mean? What it mean? What it mean? To soothe in temper or disposition, or to reduce in intensity. The company attempted to mollify its employees by offering them more flexible work schedules. The explanation was intended to mollify the manager's anger. In context, and a lot of fans who had vowed never to return were apparently mollified since attendance returned to pre-strike levels within a year. Will fans forgive this time? Maybe. But MLB was losing ground before the lockout. All right, let's get straight into it. This was sent to me by someone. And this is talking about NSU issues a statement in response to former football player's assault and hazing claims.
Yeah, Lena, so former Virginia Beach
against the school and his old teammates. He claims he's the victim of hazing and sexual harassment. 10 on your side's John Downing first told you about this at midday. He's now live at NSU with the details. John?
Yeah, Lena, so former Fahey, he read from a prepared statement earlier today and didn't take any questions. He emotionally recounted the issues and the trauma he faced while he was on the NSU football team, and now he's coming out and saying that even when he told coaches about what happened, they didn't step in to provide any help.
You want to know why? Because hazing has been a part of campus life and societies in general for forever. When you're pledging your allegiance to something, you have to go through a ritual. That's what that is. That is a ritual. Now, sexual harassment, that's a little different now. That's weird. Now, myself, like I already said, I went to HU, right? I was in a band. So, if I could do it all over again, I would have did Find Me Alpha or KK Psi or KK Psi, but it wasn't on the campus, so I wouldn't have been able to do that. But if I had my way, I would have did that. Then I would have did the alphas. Yeah, I wouldn't have did IOTAs. IOTAs was recruiting everybody. I knew one of the dudes. They were recruiting everybody. But I damn sure, for sure, would have did the alphas. I would have become an alpha. Cause it's all about network. That's the other thing too that I wanted to speak on about KS. That I really, really liked about him is he just reminds you of a socialite. He reminds you of a dude who's just always talking, always have people around him, always networking. People always want to be around him. That's what he reminds me of. And that's what he pushed. He's like, yeah, you can be, the most smart, all-seeing, all-knowing, all-telling guy. But you got to have network. That's why in his definition of high figure nigga, he talks about group acceptance. Belongs to a network of other high-value men. Has visibility in a society. People can see him. And he's a utility to others in his society. It starts and begins with people. And that's one of the things that he preached. And he spoke on. And these are one of the things that brothers like myself who may be a little introverted need to work on is people. I have outstanding people skills, but it starts and ends with people. So I got to do better. And I will do better. And that's what guys like him were here for. He talked cash shit to the women. He was trying to save them. Ain't want no saving. Ain't want no saving that, man. Us men, we already got that hacked. We already know. You can't save these women. Whether they want to be saved, whether they don't want to be saved. Ain't no point in trying to save them. If they come with you, they coming with you. If they not, you got to just let them. You got to let them drown. We don't go where other men have drowned. We don't do that. So that's why a lot of the shows in that space don't host women in the way that he was doing it. Now, let's be real. The shows like his and Fresh and Fit are the biggest ones because they do have the women up there. But that space, just like every other space evolves. That space was intended to help men because men don't have a place to go. And now that we have had a place for all these years, now they're trying to cut down on what people say and things like that. And it sucks. It really does suck.
The bottom line was I feared for my safety.
Former Ocean Lakes High School football player Sean Fahey says he had bigger dreams of playing football after college. Now, for the time being, they'll remain just that, a dream.
Ever playing again for Norfolk State University was out of the question. It is sad for me to admit this, but what a terrible decision it ended up being for me to put my faith and safety in Norfolk State when I accepted that football scholarship over others.
The freshman recounted generalized incidents of sexual assault and hazing with NSU's football team. His attorney says NSU has known about the allegations for over 10 months now and have failed to act.
Instead of prioritizing the safety of individual players by reporting these outrageous behaviors or disciplining the offenders, coaches simply and unconscionably warned one player, quote, "It will catch up with you."
A lawsuit hasn't been filed yet. A specific timeline of the incidents hasn't been released. Details of whether the incidents took place on or off campus also are unclear. We pressed his attorney to see roughly how many former athletes she says she spoke to.
So at this time, I'm not going to answer any more of those questions about that, but we are exploring our legal options. You will know more in just a few weeks.
She also says there's even a video of an incident where a player performed simulated sex acts on another player in a bed while others watched. Before more details emerge, Fahey had a message for other victims suffering in silence.
If you are a student athlete, you have been sexually assaulted, harassed, or hazed, it is okay and you are not alone. There are people who will listen to you, believe you, and act in your best interests.
Now that full press conference, you can go over and see it.
Okay. All right, we get the gist of it. So it's probably the humiliation, the sexual harassment that really made this dude say, you know what, this shit out of line. Cause I was hazed at Hampton twice, and never went to that length. And mind you, the first time I got hazed, the dude who was in charge was definitely alphabet soup. He was cool. He was fucking us up though. I ain't gonna lie. He was fucking us up. But we never had that issue. The head, the ace of my line, she's a girl. And then all the rest of us were boys. And we never had no issue. I mean, even the old ones. Well, all right, so first thing first is, when we did go to our sets, we were always blindfolded. So we knew who was who from voices, but if they didn't want to be seen there, they didn't have to be seen there. Because eventually, once we got to where we were going, then we took off our blindfolds. Or once we basically once we got to where we were going, we were guided to wherever the set or ritual was getting ready to happen, then we would take off our blindfolds because everybody was in on it. So yeah, we were willing participants of being hazed. because we wanted to be a part of that. Even though, I'm not going to lie, I didn't really want to, but I just said, fuck it. I just kind of went along with it. And I probably would do it all over again, not going to lie. So let's go through this article real quick, and let's see what they're talking about. I mean, we already know. Matter of fact, we don't even need to go through this article. Because we know that hazing is part of college culture, especially HBCU culture. Like I said, I was hazed when I went to school. I mean, I'm talking about things like we had Omatic juice. So first of all, first things first is I played saxophone in the band Hampton University Marching Force. Okay. So everything was broken down into sections. You had your flutes, then piccolos. You had clarinets. You had mellophones, saxophones. So alto sax, tenor sax. You had trumpets. You had percussion. You had tubas. You had trombones. Baritones. Drum majors. Ebony Fire, which was the dancers, and then flag girls. Now, let's see if I can remember every section. What was trumpets? Brass D. That is trumpets. Brass D. Percussion. Sticky Situation. Tubas, Lowdown, I think. Trombone, Slide Force. I don't remember what baritone was. EU or something like that. I really don't remember. Saxophones, Omatic. Tenor sax, which I played. T Nasty, but they grouped us together, so we were all Omatic. Clarinets was Black Magic. I forget what the flutes was. Drum majors was Tweet Tweet. Flag girls was Majestic. Nah. And I forget what Ebony Fire was. But, anyways, we had to do things like we had information, names of former force members who crossed, dating all the way back into the early 2000s. Because when I was a freshman at HU, it was 2010. So the line went back, at least what we had to know and the people that we had to know, it went back at least 10 years, maybe a little bit further than that. So a lot of the people that we began to familiarize ourselves with and eventually would do sets at their houses, because, I mean, they were lifers. A lot of those people were lifers, band lifers. And me, that just was never my stilo. That was just never my thing. But I still talk to a lot of those people to this day. But so yeah, we had to learn names of people who came before us and set the boundary, who would let us know what it was and what it is. And if we decided that we want to carry it on, then yeah. And how to do it. Some of the things that we had to do. Okay, so some of the information that we had to do, because the real ritual was the last night, which was hell night. That whole week was hell week, but that last night was hell night. That was the real true ritual, where all we was doing was reciting information, people's names, their line names, things of that nature. Now, my line name was Thug Nasty for whatever reason. They viewed me as a thug. I wasn't a thug. Never been a thug. But, I mean, when I came in at that time, that's just, they saw me as like a Tupac, whatever. I don't know. I don't care. But I was Thug Nasty, and I was the 3. And I think that's the sign. Yeah, that's the sign. Something like that. I don't know. I ain't no gang member. I forgot how it goes. Because, I mean, the dances and some more things. This shit like a gang, man. Come on now. Gang. But, yeah. So, one of the poems that we had to learn was Wise Old Owl. Another one of the poems was Night. It's like night. No night will last forever. You'll pass out before you die. Night. Another one. What the fuck? Excuses. Everybody knows excuses. Excuses are tools for the weak and incompetent to build monuments and nothingness and roads that lead to nowhere. Those who specialize in using them are seldom capable of doing shit. That's why we don't fuck with them. I always fuck up the last 2 sentences, but that's the gist of excuses. And mind you, we're shoulder to shoulder with other people, and our dean is like, all right, put your dicks in your mouth. So, pause, first of all. But what our dicks is on a saxophone, you have your neck strap. And your neck strap connects to the back of your sax. So when you're holding it, so this right here is the top and the front, right? This right here is on the side. So imagine me turning it. That neck strap's gonna be right here. Okay, so imagine my neck strap right here connected behind my sax. Matter of fact, hold up. Well, I don't care, but that's what they called it. Shit was always some sexual shit, borderline gay shit, just like that. Like, hey, everybody put your dicks in your mouth. Like, nigga, what? But that's how they got down. Whatever the fuck. It was shit like that that made me and my homeboy question, why the fuck were we doing this? Like, what are we getting out of this? And literally, it's just to say that you went through something with somebody. And in a sense, it's like, now we can trust you. Because it was an upperclassman who's talented sax player, Thomas Mims. And they always treated him like an outsider because he never crossed Omatic. They always treated him like an outsider. For no reason. Well, not for no reason, but they always treated him like an outsider. And we was always cool. Like, Cam and me, we were cool with everybody. I should have called him in. Matter of fact, I might call him in for this episode. But we always I might just call him in for the next episode. But we was cool with everybody. That was not an issue. So we had the information that we had to know. The people that we had to know that came before us. The information. There were other pieces of information that we had to know as well. Why is this off to the side like that? Okay, cool. It's how that shit is centered in here, but I'm not about to mess with it because eventually I'm gonna switch the switch up on the switch up, so I ain't tripping off that. What else? Okay. Eventually, we had to start taking strokes. So, I mean, shit. It was really for whatever they wanted it to be for. It was literally to pledge your loyalty to this group that you wanted to be a part of. So you could quit at any time, at any point that you wanted to, but you couldn't tell. So when you took strokes, then everybody had a tagline. I can't even remember, man, because it was 2010. That was 12 years ago, man. But my catch line, because my list was black, I was smoking hella Newports, smoking a lot of weed, won't get shit done. It's just young, talented, good looking. Mine was, first of all, the guys, we had to hold our nuts. Because that shit hurt when that paddle hit your nuts, especially the corner of that motherfucker hit your nuts. That shit hurts, man. And also, what we try to do to, like, not feel the paddle as much is we tried to wear, like, 2 or 3 pairs of shorts or 2 or 3 pairs of sweatpants. So we might be hot, but our ass was padded. But yeah, so we would hold our arm out like this. And my line was, in the cut, rolling doobies up. Whack. In the cut, rolling doobies up. Whack. In the cut, rolling. Whack. It just got to, I know, the last night, it just got to the point where they was like, man, hey, just keep saying your line, but we just gonna keep on going, because your shit too long. I'm like, in the cut, rolling doobies. Whack. In the cut, rolling. Whack. Like, they was just going in. I'm like, God damn, man, what the fuck? I can't believe I volunteered myself to get fucking abused right now. So I understand it. But if you could tough it out, that's a network that you have access to. You gotta earn it. Nothing's given. Nothing's given. So I did that one. And I mean, we did other things too. Like we did hunts outside, blindfolded, looking for random shit. And they would literally just throw us outside and we were looking for something and they'd be like, cold as fuck. Or they'd be like, hot, slap your mama hot. Until we got to whatever it is that we were going to, whether it was actually like locating a place where a ritual was gonna take place or gather something. But it was all about earning. You gotta earn. Nothing's given. You had to earn those people's trust. You had to earn those people's networks, because once we did that, then they were like, hey, now you're our little bro. And a lot of people were saying that crossing the band line was harder than crossing a lot of the frat and sorority lines, which I never did. If I could go back in time, like I said, I would have did Alpha. Or I would have tried to do Q-Dog. But nobody was checking on me for Divine 9. Only IOTAs. And The IOTAs won't check in on me. Well, the only reason IOTAs was checking was because they were recruiting because they were low in numbers. Nobody wanted to do IOTAs because IOTAs wasn't popular. They weren't popping. All the girls thought IOTAs was whack. So IOTAs was just out here looking for people who were either clouded or could produce clout. And I mean, some of my friends were IOTAs. And got the brands on their arms and everything. And that's cool, but if I'm going to get branded, it's got to be by something that I stand by. And I liked the Alphas. Ice Cold. They were like, the inverse to, not even the inverse, but they were like the cousins to the Kappas, man. The Kappas was Smooth Brothers. Dress. The Kevin Samuels brothers. The Alphas was the Tommy Jack brothers. We smooth too. We just got a different swag to it. That's it. We smooth too, man. We well connected, well respected too. We got it going on too. And what else? I mean, and yeah. So after crossing the band line or your section, then you cross the line for the band. So that's everybody who's in the band at that point. That's marching pirate. So how you can identify who's marching pirate and who isn't is if someone says ahoy. And how do you respond? Mate? Ahoy, mate. And that was fun too. Also, another thing that we did with both lines, because it was music, we always had to come up with songs and put our information in there, whether it be about whoever it may be about. But we had to come up with songs and remember these songs and come up with beats. And most of the times, I was the one out there. I was the one who was making the beats, making the music. Because I couldn't remember all that stuff. My mind was just, I wanted to do so much. But Marching Pirate was much of the same thing. It was just everybody in the band who was in the band. We all crossed the line together. That shit was fun. I ain't gonna lie. It was fun. It was. But it's been so many cases of people who have been violated while being hazed. Hazing is not meant for anyone to be hurt. It's meant to push you. It's meant to push you to the edge, definitely. But it's not meant to hurt or violate. Like, for instance, FAMU. Let's look that up. Back a couple years ago. So this happened actually all right, it paused up on me. So in this case, FAMU, famed Florida historically black college or university marching band, performed everywhere from Super Bowls to presidential inaugurations. Back in 2013, when I was back in college, drum major Robert Champions was murdered during a a hazing ritual on a bus. So, and the investigators ruled it. Well, not investigators, but the death was ruled a homicide. Over 2,000 pages of evidence for the investigation into Champion's death were released by the Florida District Attorney's Office in May 2012, which delivered a blow-by-blow of the events from the night of Champion's death. Champion endured a lethal pummeling down the aisle of a pitch-black bus that rocked from the force of the violence inside, according to the documents. Champion struggled with a female band member holding him back to prolong the punishment through a gauntlet of bandmates who used their fists, feet, straps, and sticks to pound him into unconsciousness. The attorney for Champion's parents did not immediately respond request for comment today. So that's just one case of hazing, at least at a HBCU, going wrong. So let's see, because the brother was talking about sexual assault and hazing. Everybody gets hazed. I'll just let you know that right now. Look, this is coming to us through safetymanagement.eku.edu. So this is coming to us from Eastern Kentucky University's online safety, security, and emergency management program. A dangerous tradition. And this, look, athletics. I mean, I was even listening to Club Shay Shay. I was listening to Shannon Sharp today. And he was talking about, well, no, he had Clinton Portis up there, running back. And Clinton Portis was talking about how one of the best nights that they ever had was in Miami when he was with Denver. And Uncle Shannon Sharp, and them boys basically hazed him. They went to a club and basically ran them up. Because they was rookies, they all rich, or they at least get money. And one of the things is, like, you had to show the vets a good time. So you had to finance the night. And that's just one way of them hazing. Let's see. Okay, so we got that. And these are just a few statistics right here. So, all right, so varsity athletics, social fraternities and sororities, of course, we already know about those. Club sports, performing art organizations, so like I said, the band. Service fraternities and sororities, intramural teams, recreation clubs, academic clubs, honor societies, Um, yeah. All right. So, most frequently reported hazing behaviors. So, participating in drinking games, singing or chanting in public, associating with certain people and not others. Yeah. Binge drinking to the point of getting sick or passing out. Shit, I did that. My damn self. Depriving oneself of sleep. Being screamed at, yelled at, or cursed at. So, I've pretty much done all of these. Other types of hazing behavior. Participating in sexual acts. Nah, I've never done that. Running while blindfolded. Didn't I tell you that? Eating spicy foods or other substances. Now, when I did do this, this is when we were crossing Omatic. So, thing that they did was, I don't even know what they put in a damn cup, but they called the shit Omatic juice. They just put random shit in a cup and you had to finish it. And motherfuckers was throwing up, but I mean, we was alright. We made it do what it do. We didn't have no issues with it. Some of us didn't. Yeah, we did what we had to do. Not everybody was throwing up. Let's see. Shit. Hold on. Why am I need you to come back up, bitch. Nah, not that. We getting ready to end this out. Nah, not that. You gonna let me come back? Or maybe I was trying to change the wrong shit. Cause I was. It'd be like that. Alright. Let's see. Enduring physical abuse such as beating or paddling. Yeah. Shit. Oh. I forgot this. Yo. This was crazy. So I guess for whatever reason, it seemed like the deuce who was on my right shoulder and myself, either they knew or they assumed or looked like to the people who were hazing us that my right shoulder and I just didn't fuck with each other. Because, I mean, I don't even think it was that. I just think that it was just two people who just so happened to come together and we just did things differently. It just so happened that that was the only thing that tied us together. Was that line. So, and we were both about the same height. He was a little shorter than me. We were both stocky. Both played tenor. And so what they would make us do all the damn time was they would make us slap each other. So what would happen is they would make us put. So I would put my hand on his shoulder, and he put his hand on my shoulder. So, and then they would adjust accordingly. So he was a little shorter than mine, so his arms were a little shorter. So they would move him a little closer. No. We were about the same height, so we didn't have to do all that moving. So then they'd be like, yo, start it off. So then I would start it off, and I would just be like, man, thinking to myself, like, I really don't fuck with this nigga. And I'll reach back and smack the shit out that motherfucker. I was trying to knock him over every time. And he'd get me too. And after 2 slaps, I was like, shit, I'm ready to fuck this nigga up. I'm ready to go. And we'd be going. No fucks to give at all. So, I mean, it was just shit like that. Like, it's shit like that. If you seen that out in public, like, I'm talking about not even on some, like, organized type shit. Because, I mean, you see it. Like, I've seen it plenty of times on the internet where people have, like, you know, they have chalk for the hands, and it might be 2 big, meaty, stocky guys. And, you know, you'll see one guy, and he slaps the shit out of dude, and the other dude's got a iron jaw, and the shit don't move nowhere. And then the dude who gets slapped first laughs because he's like, nigga, that ain't do shit. And then he cocks that motherfucker back and knocks the other dude unconscious. Like, nah. It won't nothing like that. It was like straight up like some street shit. Damn near. Because honestly, him and me would have kept going until one of us got knocked out. Because I remember one time we was going. Like, I'm trying to knock this nigga out, and he trying to knock me out. And I'm not going, and he's not going. Like, we would have both gave each other a concussion if we would have kept going. Let's see, the only thing that saved him was the fact that it was women there. And it was like, you gotta stop. Cause then it was getting to him like, yo, this shit is immoral. But secretly, we some fucking savages. And we love that shit. Participating in illegal activities such as stealing. No, we didn't do that. Being isolated. I mean, I guess. But not really. Performing physical labor. Yeah, we did. What was it called? It was a push-up thing. So it'd be like, I'd be on the bottom. Then the next person would put their legs on top of my legs. Then the next person would put their legs on top of the person who put their legs on me before, and then et cetera, et cetera. And we all do push-ups like that. All right, let me see. When was this done? I don't see a time. I don't see a year on this. That's what I don't like. I do not see timetable. In the past decade. Which decade? 1920s? What are you talking about? 200 years? That's what I don't like. I see. Now that really pisses me off, because then I don't trust the validity when I don't see years or anything like that up here. But I mean, this at least will give you a gist of what it is. And I've told you, because I've been hazed. So yeah, like I said, coaches and other advisors were aware, Band director knew. Band director was part of Slide Force. At least when we got hazed. Alumni were present. Duh. Some of the times it occurred at alumni's places. Matter of fact, the last night when we crossed our line, it was in downtown Hampton in somebody's basement. Students shared their experiences with peers. After, or with other band members who were crossing their lines at the same time, or alumni who knew and had been there already. Students shared their experiences with family members. Yeah, because the family members ain't gonna say nothing unless it's bad. All right, examining the hazing problem. Hazing is not an isolated issue, and the perpetrators are not the only ones responsible for the consequences. Perpetrators, they are usually the more senior members of the organization are responsible for leading the hazing experience. By standards, they can be recently inducted members and have the authority to increase or decrease the severity of hazing. Absolutely. By standards, they can be, alumni, supervisors, administration, and community. All right, hazing settings usually occurs at the same place every time. Settings may include locker rooms, school buses, sports fields, other large areas. Consequences involved in hazing may be expulsion, suspension, legal consequences including fines and jail times. The victim may experience sleep deprivation, worsened physical, emotional, and mental state, erosion of trust in group members, illness or hospitalization, poor academic performance, loss of empowerment and sense of control, damaged personal relationships, PTSD, loss of respect for the organization. How to spot? We're gonna close it out right here, because that's not really where I wanted to go with this. But hazing, it's real, and believe it or not, there are benefits to hazing. It's just when people are so power hungry, because maybe they've been shitted on all their lives, and they actually get to a place where they can yield some power, they usually abuse the shit, and then people get hurt and people die. But hazing can be a good thing. Rituals can be a good thing, especially when you're being inducted into good company, good organizations. But as far as the football player is concerned, man, that's unfortunate, man. Because it sounded like they was really trying to get you to do some take the banana up the tailpipe, or you to succeed. And that's not cool, man. That's not cool at all. But I get it. If you want to get down, then you gotta be down. And that's kind of whack. All right, so last topic of the day, and then we're gonna round out the show. New invention turns seawater into drinking water at the push of a button. Researchers have invented a desalination device that can turn seawater into drinking water at the push of a button. The technology uses a technique that essentially zaps the water from electricity in order to remove salt molecules, bacteria, and viruses. This eliminates the need for replacement filters and high pressure pumps, which current commercially available desalination units require. Packaged in a suitcase-sized device, it weighs less than 10 kilograms and can be powered with a portable solar panel. This makes it suitable for use in remote and severely resource-limited areas, according to the team at Massachusetts Institute, MIT. So yeah, like you said, this can generate 0.3 liters of drinking water per hour straight from the sea. So right now they're working on creating something that can do a whole lot more, and I wish them the best. I wish them the best of successes, and I hope that they accomplish what it is that they are looking to accomplish, because you put your mind to it, you can do it. All right, let's go ahead and close the show out. All right, so first, before I talk about the ism, the word of the day was
mollify,
mollify. Means to soothe in temper or disposition, or to reduce in intensity. The explanation was intended to mollify the manager's anger. Mollify. Hold up, talk to me.
mollify,
What you say? Say it again.
mollify,
Huh? I didn't hear you right. Say it one more again.
mollify.
All right. So then the ism, the main topic of the show, but the isms for today's show was reflecting on some of Kevin Samuel's preachings and philosophies and things that I really peeled away from his way and his dynamic and the things that he did. And it's not going to be a void that's going to be left, because there's always going to be someone who's going to come and it's going to fill the place in that vacuum that's being left. But rest in heaven, rest in power, my brother, and I appreciate you for the work that you've done, for kicking our asses, especially young men like myself who needed that, who never had a mother, didn't know where to look, and I just so happened to be placed at the right time in the right place with the right resources to be able to figure it out and discover where it is that I need to do with myself. So KS, to you, I salute you, sir. I appreciate you for everything, man. And hey, man, the world lost a good one. The world really lost a good one, man. All right, after that, hold on, let me take my screen back. Like, let me put it back. Yeah. All right, yeah. Then we talked about Norfolk State University. So this is a Virginia-fied-ish show. Norfolk State University issues a statement in response to former football players' assault and hazing claims. So, I mean, from what we looked into, this is a natural part of hazing. When you want to become a part of an organization, they're going to make you participate in rituals that you don't agree with, just to prove your loyalty, to see how much you want it, how bad do you want it. I've gone through rituals. I've never gone to the extent of that, as in maybe putting somebody's genitalia in me, around me. I just wouldn't have been a part of that organization, because I don't want anything that bad. But from the research that we just did, this is common. And I didn't even go down the rabbit hole like how I could have went down the rabbit hole, because I wouldn't have mind doing it. But I'm just saying. Sad world, man. Sad world. And last but certainly not least, we went all the way up to New York, to MIT University, and we talked about a new invention that turns seawater into drinking water at the push of a button, and they're still working on it to get it to what it needs to be. So it's called a portable seawater desalination system for generating drinkable water in remote locations. So on that note, hey, it's the Don, the Senator of Smooth and Rude, coming to you live from the 75Y, cause we global, baby, yeah. Hey, this is the Mansion in the Sky podcast where we build the land while we drive it. We always strive to become. It's an everyday struggle, I'm trying to tell you. We always strive to become envious, which is to become unconquerable and influential in every single aspect of our lives. Our focus here at the Mansion is to learn lessons from current events, either global and or local, and apply it while staying in the mix about technology and health in a cold, calculated, and ever so changing world. So, envious ones. Till next time, sing it out.